Hello and welcome again to Picklehaube Gaming. I am your host, some doofus. But anyway, today we'll be taking a look at one of the PlayStation 2's launch titles, Gungriffon Blaze. A sort of game where you fight as a mech and you play around and you shoot at things. And just look at this case, look at how reflective it is, and it's almost holographic the way it is. That and another interesting thing about this game is that this was one of the last games made by Working Designs. The same people that were pretty much the sole provider of RPGs on the Saturn, and was one of the few people that made owning a Sega CD worth two dams, but you know. So, anyway, let's take a deep dive into the stuff behind this game.
Gungriffon Blaze was one of 29 games released at the launch of the PlayStation 2 back in the year 2000, and was many of those launched that had a blue disc indicating that it was a CD. If you want to learn more about how the PS2 launch games and how a majority of them are on CDs, I have a video in the description below for you to see. Gungriffon Blaze's plot is about some sort of weird war or some sort of civil distress that's happening after a war that previously had happened, and people fight with mechs now, but modern tanks and whatever. The plot doesn't really matter. In fact, you have to really get out of your way to know the plot, because there's a little area where you learn about the general plot, which obviously I didn't record footage for. Sorry. The game features only 6 levels. Yeah, 6. Albeit it disguises some of the lack of levels with difficulty, so some of them you're going to have to play over and over and over again. But, then again, the CDs contain at most 700 megabytes, so, it's not really much they could do, especially having to use next generation sound and graphics, which leads us to its presentation. The graphics are actually really nice for the generation, and considering it was one of the first games on the PlayStation 2, it's definitely good. It's good. The music, on the other hand, is sort of ambiance and sort of I don't know, it's just the music's weird. But it sounds nice, and the audio quality is really nice, CD quality and all that jazz. But now the controls. So, you know how you control the camera with the left stick and run and move your character around with the right stick? Well, it's the opposite. You move with the right stick and you control with the left. So the camera and movement controls are actually reversed compared to modern video games like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, even SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom on the PS2, geez. But it doesn't really ruin the gameplay, and you'll eventually get used to it. It'll be fine if you played it. It's just muscle memory's a bitch, so you got to be prepared for that. The game does feature upgrades and equipment that you unlock after each level, so that's nice. The game is super fun to play, and even though the levels are short and kind of limited in size, it's still really fun.
I highly recommend this game to anyone who's sort of interested in the PlayStation 2's history. Recommend it to anyone who's interested in the sort of interesting games that come out during a console's launch. It's a really good mech game, even though the controls are a little, I would say, to say something that is purely inoffensive, a little bit mirrored with how the analog sticks work. I still attest that this is a fun, well-made game. It's a bit short, and it kind of uses difficulty as a way to hide the shortness, but believe you me, this is a pretty good game. I highly recommend it to anyone. It's great. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.